Hi, guys. Um, Today's the 18th of June. It's in the afternoon. I've been playing music in my ears. I thought I would try something different. In other words, I want to sing. So there you go. Because I can't play it otherwise, or I get copyrighted. And I don't know how it is if I sing the songs. Maybe I'll get copyrighted anyway. I wonder, there's no way I could sing that. Okay. One of these times I just have to do a bunch of practicing before I get on here and try to sing something. Unless I play something old that I know. And I have to put my glasses back on. So on my playlist, there are Dog Star songs, but there's also some other ones. Like the Steven Sanchez song is there, and then Justin Bieber with Ghost is there. That song I was telling you about called Math, that's on there. And then do you guys remember It's a Beautiful Day? A Girl with No Eyes. I keep getting all these phone calls and I don't want to answer them. I don't know what they're about. And I figure if they're important, they'll leave a message, but they just keep calling. Okay, so some of the songs on my list. I'm just looking at it right now, okay? Girl with No Eyes. Girl with No Eyes. That's It's a Beautiful Day. And then Time is by It's a Beautiful Day. That's a really good song too. Evil Woman by ELO. Until I Found You, Steven Sanchez. So I've got it on there more than once. In fact, it looks like I've got it on there 3 times so far. And before. And then Perfect is on there too. Anyway, I'm going to learn some good songs just for my own pleasure. But I'll take these off. And I sat there and deleted a ton of songs. I should have left them on there. I had a whole bunch of things saved. But they were haphazard, I just did them as I was looking at stuff. And I don't know. I don't know what takes away storage from my phone, but I got a problem with storage. And also my iPad. And I know part of it is I didn't get the updates. But then I got to get rid of stuff in order to get the updates on there. And then between YouTube and the updates, it takes all the space. So I was thinking that when I put all those videos on YouTube that it didn't count against me, but I'm not so sure. Not so sure. I wish I had all that technology in my head. But sometimes, like I've said before, you get too much in your head and then you don't know what to do with it. You gotta offload some of it somewhere so you don't think about it. But then you find that you need little bits and pieces of all these files. I don't think I have any coffee left in there. I don't. So anyway, my poor little head. I don't know what's going on up there, but there are a lot of little hairs. I'm hoping they're new sprouts. I have a new forest growing on my head. Wouldn't that be a trip? I hope so. Cutest little gadget. I'm going to go ahead and show it to you. Sooner or later, I mean, I wish it would be sooner, like as an immediately. But before long, I am sure the world's got to wake up. You know, I don't know which color pill you take to wake up. You know, the pharmacy is all that. Everything. There's a pill for this and a pill for that. Just pay attention and listen. Something hurts, go get a pain pill. Something does this, go do that, you know. And then not just pills, but cough syrup and all these different things. Well, you know, we do need our elixirs. But I'm just saying, the world revolves around it. Pharmaceuticals. And not letting us have the things that we could have naturally to take care of some stuff. It's all a big conspiracy, right? But anyway, I just wish everything was free. I'm not necessarily talking about costs. I'm talking about free of regulations. Free of someone saying, you can't do that. And calling you a bad person because you do. And throwing your butt in prison because you do. And in the old days, all you had to do is have a seat on you. I mean, nothing. It was crazy. And it still is in some places. We got in trouble in Downs, Kansas, and we didn't even have any real weed. All we had was Kansas stuff that didn't get you high. And we harvested it from their dam off the road in the woods. They knew where it was. They didn't take care of it. But the point is, my ex told me that Kansas is getting in a lot of trouble because of what they did. Because not only did they do it to us, they did it to a lot of people. I mean, really, if you went back and took what I lost because of that, if they had to pay me back, and then for my life being ruined for a while, you know, humiliation and all kinds of things they make you do over bullshit. Right word. You know, and you'll find that there's some places that will use laws just to get some revenue, just like DWIs and stuff. Instead of helping the citizen get home, they lay in wait and pull you over and away you go. And then once they know who you are, then they're watching for you. But I'm just saying, this is from way back when. But all these little towns, they need revenue, right? So be careful. But then some people are nice, like Andy Griffith. You know, you be good. You help them get home instead of them having to drive. We didn't have a taxi cab back then. I bet they do now, because they were a dry county back then, but they are not now. I haven't been there since they have a bar on every corner. I bet it's nice, though, to not have to go so far. But the problem is that I'm sure they're still laying in wait. You've been at that place and you've been there drinking because you're there past a particular time and all that stuff. I already experienced Perryton. How many years ago? I don't know. It was way a long time ago, probably 30 years ago. We moved there in 1991, and it was probably maybe 92 before they got me. Messed with me. Anyway, it's not really right. But that's the way it goes. First your money, and then your clothes. Okay. I hope it's a lot better out there. I mean, one of the things I had thought about doing when I was in Perryton was getting a little bus and doing a shuttle. A shuttle between the one bar to the one at the line, which was 8 miles down the road, and then a shuttle to home. Charge a good amount of money, but it's a hell of a lot better than a DWI. But I never did do it. It was just one of those good ideas. Taxi cabs, Uber drivers, whatever, but in little places they don't. Uber is probably going on because there are things you can do with apps on your phone. And I know people that are doing Uber Eats. They go and pick up fast food and take it to people. Good living, I guess, and can be made in that as long as you don't wear out your car. Anyway, so what is a good thing to talk about today? I was going to show you my gadget, Inspector Gadget. There's just some neat things out there. And I don't have, I have the bare minimal nothings. In other words, I've got a vape pen. And then I get cartridges for that. But it's just not the same. It's not the same as smoking flower. And it's just not the same as being in your own place and you have your own tools and you're in the right state. Anyway, boy, I'm going to have to open that window. See, since summer has come on and the temperatures have gone up, my hot flashes have come back. And I did forget to take the gabapentin. When I was putting out my pills, I guess I forgot to put that gabapentin in it. And so I don't know how long it was I wasn't taking it, but boy, oh boy. See, I've been taking gabapentin for hot flashes. And it works. And I cut it down to just doing 300 at night when I go to bed. But I'm going to probably have to increase that. In other words, I'm going to have to take it during the day. But I just didn't want to because it puts you to sleep. Or I mean, I don't know if it puts you to sleep, but it helps you to sleep. I don't know what the right words would be. My dad took gabapentin, and he took a lot of things. Put you down, like downers. Anyway. Do 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 do. If I have it on, I'll get all distracted. But I do want to try singing. I need my own karaoke thing, I guess. They haven't been going out and doing karaoke. But anyway, it's because her boyfriend's a musician. When I say a musician, he's a singer. And so he's always practicing for his band and stuff. Or for the band that he is in. That tells me, people, I'm not saying that tells me, but I'm saying in my brain, okay, it was something I wanted to talk about. Any of you out here, I mean, it could apply to all of us, okay? But I've been seeing it. And there's a lot of facets. There's a lot of facets to it, okay? But relationships and communication. It's hard to communicate. And it's hard to express yourself without the other one coming unglued. And so it's hard to formulate your words and stuff. So then what happens is while you're trying to do that, you end up yelling. I mean, the being mad makes you yell too, I guess. But part of it is. And then there's this fear of communicating what you really think. And you don't want to hurt the other one's feelings. But then again, there comes a time when that's all you want to do is hurt the other one's feelings. So that's not cool. And then, I'm just going to say it, people. We do not see ourselves, especially in a certain situation. In other words, drinking. A couple drinks, getting a little bit tipsy, that's okay. But you keep drinking, what's going to happen? Things change. Your perception changes. Your looseness to say what you want to say changes. And then if you're angry, if you've got anger built up over what you're trying to say, or finally you're going to say something, and then you got all these combination of things. Nobody likes to be yelled at. I'm pretty sure nobody likes to be yelled at. And I'm also sure that people don't like to be criticized. And they don't like being taken advantage of. And sometimes it's just hard to communicate your feelings. So then it makes you unhappy. All I know is for relationships, I act like I'm an expert, and really I'm not an expert, so far I have been through stuff. But as an observer, and as a person who feels very deeply, or I don't know, my feelings get hurt, okay? And I do try to understand what someone else is saying before I get upset. Because sometimes they're saying something making me really upset, but then maybe I'm not understanding really what they're trying to say. So that it's important to not be getting all upset and mad over something that's maybe not true. I mean, maybe they're not trying to convey what they're actually conveying. Anyway, it's not easy. It's not easy to join your life with somebody, but you got to be able to talk to them. You got to be able to talk about anything. And then also you've got to find a way to keep the love alive. Some people ain't going to put up with it. I'm one of them. But I'm just saying, if you want love, once you find it, you better take care of it. And don't forget, I can look from the outside and see and remember, and I'm talking about somebody else, but I can remember them wanting to be together so bad and not being able to be together, and feeling a lot of anxiety and remorse, and I don't even know if remorse is it, but feeling really sad and tender feelings and all kinds of things. And then there finally comes a time when they're together, and they went through hell to get there. But I kind of think they've forgotten. All that longing, the longing to be together. What was that all about? I think people get lost because finally they get what they want. Like I said, they paid a heavy price to do that. Not just them, but their kids, everybody involved paid a heavy price. Plus, also went from having anything you want, money-wise, to being broke. Big difference. Big old difference. Suffering when you didn't have to suffer before. But see, we don't realize how good we got it till it's gone. But the other thing is, you can't put a price on love, can you? That was the thing that was missing. Okay. That was a message. I don't know. Okay, cool. All right. So, where was I? I don't know where I was, but I'm in Pennsylvania is where I am. And I'm with family, and I do love being with family. I don't see my grandkids because they're grown up and they're busy in their lives. My grandson's fixing to become a Papa Bear. He's going to be a father somewhere around September 20th. And it's just exciting. It's real exciting to see your family grow. I'm so glad that she did that. I mean, I only had one, but it wasn't by choice until you got to a certain point, you know. But my beginnings, I was going to have a family with somebody I thought I was in love with. I was so sure I was in love. But see, I was just a young thing. And then I had a hard time getting pregnant. So there was only one child born. I did lose a baby when I was 19. I was going through a separation then. Things just were never good with that marriage. I was 19, I believe, when I lost that baby. I was about 3 months along. And they say if there's something wrong with the baby, you'll usually lose it by the 3rd month. I still had to have a D&C. They had to go in and scrape me because I didn't get rid of everything. That sounds terrible, but when you're having a miscarriage, everything's coming out. So that I didn't get rid of all that stuff that was coming out. That was so long ago. 19. I just turned 71, but let's just go back to 69, take 19 away. That's 50 years, right? So anyway, I used to think that I might get to raise that child, but I don't think so. I think really that's meant for the children that were born. In other words, we're going to be able to raise our children in the millennium, the ones we lost. But I just think that that body didn't make it. And so a spirit did not quicken it. And so it's probably nothing. It was the start of something. And I have no clue what it was. So it's sad. Jessie could have a brother or a sister. Or, you know, she could have been the one meant to come down when I had a miscarriage. She might have been meant for that body. And then I didn't get that body. Didn't have that body. So maybe she came along a little bit later. So 19, I was 22. So that's what? 20, 21, 22, 3 years. 3 years later. See, when Nancy was born, that's when I was just, I guess, not really finding out, because I never totally found out I was pregnant. The test kept coming up wrong. I don't know how to describe that either, but anyway, I went in to see the doctor, and they said, yes, you were pregnant. In other words, not anymore. But I'd been there a few times before that. They told me I wasn't pregnant. I can't say a few times, but 1 or 2 times anyway. It was just never a for sure deal. And when I went in, it was for sure that I was not pregnant any longer. So my neck's starting to feel stiff. My daughter has so much pain. She has it in her neck, and sometimes, I know it sounds silly, but sometimes I take on other people's pain. I've seen it happen. But I'm certainly not trying to get anybody's pain. It just seems like sometimes it kind of transfers over to me.